everyone, and welcome to another Book Bites episode. I'm Kylie.
I'm Susie.
And we are joined again by our friends, Allysha and Jordan.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So good to see your beautiful faces again.
Thank you for coming to our mini episodes. So these are kind of new, and it's just kind of mini topics about certain things. It can be all bookish, it can be anything, but just a little kind of extra content, essentially. So this episode, we decided to do books we wish we could read again for the first time. So I'm kind of, this was hard. I had a hard time.
I know. You take yourself back to like the moment when you first read just an incredible book and you're like, oh, if I could go over and re-experience that all over again. That was kind of the premise behind this whole idea, right? So I'm excited to hear what you all came up with.
One of mine is a little bit of a hear me out.
Those are the best. Those are my favorite. I get more excited about that kind of stuff when she's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
That was so good.
Oh, no.
That is so accurate with everything. All right, hear me out.
Yeah. Or she, okay, guys, I know it's a little weird, but.
Got me there. Got me. Okay, who wants to start? Susie, start.
Okay.
I'll make her start.
Okay. My first book was one that we actually did not too long ago for.
Let's go one for one.
Okay,
We'll
I was
do
about
a
to ask, do you want me to do all
rotation.
three?
Yeah.
Perfect. So my first pick was The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros.
Yeah.
That was my first ugly cry book. I had never, wept.
That was bad.
The way that it was such a good book. It's a World War II love story drama, and there's 2 timelines in it. Oh,
I remember listening to your guys' episode on it.
So.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you need a cry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. She will deliver.
5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Loved. Oh my God. Wish I
Yeah.
could read it again.
Fair. Allysha, what was yours? First one.
So I feel like mine is kind of like a typical answer, but I would say my book is Harry Potter.
Oh.
Nice.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm actually rereading everything right now, all the books, but yeah, I think that because that's what started, I think, for most of us, the journey of reading. So yeah, and just kind of being a kid and all the fantasy behind it. But then when you get older, you reread it and you rewatch the movies and you can relate to the trauma also.
So much more.
It hits different. It hits different. So I would definitely say Harry Potter is one for me.
Have you read Manacled?
No.
It's a Harry Potter fan fiction. I just finished it. I finished it, you guys. It's so long. It's so insanely long. It's pretty good though. Anyway.
So if it's
wanted
long
to
to
We'll
have to look that one up.
that
Sounds really good.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
on my
900
list.
something pages. Yeah, it was, and I read pretty quickly, and it was on my Kindle too. It's also being published.
That would take me a year
It took me
to
2
get
weeks
through.
of nonstop reading, but it is kind of Harry
Oh my
Potter
gosh.
based. So if you like Harry Potter, I would probably read it.
Okay. On my list.
So one of mine that I decided to bring, I don't know if any of you have read it, but Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt.
I haven't read it.
Incredible. And it's being adapted into a film, I believe, with Sally Fields, which I am super excited about. Basically, all I'm going to give you for the setup or the premise, it's the very endearing relationship between an old woman and an octopus, as a matter of fact.
It's like the octopus teacher on Netflix.
Yeah,
Have you guys
it's
seen
like
that?
in first person of the octopus. Yeah.
I love those guys at the. Aww.
I know. No, Jordan, if you liked that book, you would love that documentary. It's about this guy who he goes through life with an octopus, and it's so beautiful. I cried because it was so good. Yeah.
I read this in my local book club, and it has stuck with me forever. So if I could reread that, it would be fantastic for the first time.
I love it. Yeah.
That's good. I'm gonna just because it feels right with all four of us here.
Go for it, girl.
My first one was Magnolia Parks. The OG Magnolia Parks.
Really? You would want to reread it for the
For the first time, absolutely. Like I literally was like, I am Magnolia Parks after I read it. Like, I was so consumed with it when I first read it, and I've reread it since then, and it would still be on my list of, like, if I could do that for the first time again, I totally would.
Okay.
So that was felt right to put it
There.
there.
Okay, my next one is a series. If I could reread Twilight.
I almost said that!
My God, I would wipe my own memory 3 times just to read those again. I don't care how much time has passed.
I love
I
that.
love those books so much.
Elkie would be so proud. That's a good one.
Yeah, yep.
And also, but I
Now-
think at the same time, you had to be like, what, 15 or whatever? Like,
Yeah,
I would
was
have to
14,
be in that
I
mind
think, when I
space,
started.
too.
Yep, it'd be.
The feel of it.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yep.
When you get to Breaking Dawn.
Like the
I
deep
know.
breathing, preparing.
I have Midnight Sun on my shelf. That's the one from Edward's point of view. I haven't finished yet.
I never read it.
Really?
I have it if you want to borrow it.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know. I don't even think I got 100 pages in, to be completely honest.
Yikes.
I act shocked as a girl that didn't read it at all. Like, wow.
I think
The
it's hard
friendship
because
just tanked real quick. No, I'm just
yeah,
I know.
I think it's hard if you already know the story. It's hard to be excited to reread something, even
From
if it's just
another
in
point of
somebody's point of
view.
view. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So funny story about Twilight. My dad works in construction, and he actually worked with Stephanie's brother. And so I got to meet him, and I got to meet their mom at one of their picnics. And beautiful family, by the way. It was like,
Well, yeah, because they
It
live
was
out
awesome.
here, don't they? Doesn't
Mhm.
Stephanie Meyer live in Scottsdale?
yeah.
I think.
So they live out here, yeah. So it was like really cool, and yeah, we were able to get like our book signed by her too, and it was nice.
We
It was
both
so
in
cool.
The dream.
What's next? You're gonna tell us that you vacation with them once a year. I have a hair in my eyeball. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny. Okay, so for me, I absolutely loved this book. I love the Broadway. The movie just came out. You guys,
Fair.
if I could, I love this. Just everything about Wicked is like
Chef
so good
kiss.
to me.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So
I
that's
did
my
not
second.
know you had read the book.
Yeah.
Good for you, honestly.
This will I don't even know like what number times I have read the book.
And what's interesting is that the musical is so different.
I feel
The musical is very, very different from the book.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how every like Broadway show and like every time there's different cast members, they all do the riffs differently for every song, so it's always a unique experience every time. And then when the movie came out, I cried like a baby, and I was like, this is just, it's so good, you know.
It was so good.
It was amazing. Yeah. So that's my second pick.
very, very good choice. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Okay, so I was introduced to Abby Jimenez this year, just for the
Yes.
summer. Last year. You're right. We're in 2025 now.
Hello,
it
honey.
takes a long time for me to get adjusted.
I usually don't figure it out till like May.
But Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez was phenomenal. If I could go back to reread this for the first time, it's just incredible. Basically, these two like star-crossed lovers, if you will, Justin and Amy, they've always been unlucky in love, right? Like they're always the one that like ends up. they end up with you before you find your
okay.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And so Justin and Emma realize that they both are kind of they have this like curse, if you will. So they're like, what if we just dated each other and broke each other's curses? And it was really good.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
I'm glad that's
love
on
it.
your list because she's one of the authors I want to check out this year. I have that book from Book of the Month, actually, specifically.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of her others, and I just haven't read them, and I know that people really, really like her. So that solidified
and that's
it.
the first of hers that I've read. That's
Okay.
the first one of hers that I've read. I've read 2 other ones now since then, so highly recommend starting with it because she's so good.
Okay.
She's hesitating. Susie, why is she hesitating?
I peeked
scared.
at the notes and I'm like, she doesn't need to hesitate. These are amazing.
Did you see?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
So my first Hear Me Out. If you've never heard of this, this is actually kind of my only like hear me out. If you've never heard of this, I apologize in advance. But I think it's a experience that you maybe just have to experience. So it's gonna be Ice Planet Barbarians.
I didn't see that. I saw under and I thought, you're so worried about...
No.
I thought you were about that. I'm
I'm
like,
not.
girl, but okay, now I understand.
Ice Planet, have you ever heard of Ice Planet Barbarians? It's Ice Planet Barbarians.
No.
Okay, well,
It's an incredible story. One of a kind.
it's one of a kind. So essentially, it's
Everyone look away so she can discuss it.
I'm looking up. It's fine. It's
Don't look at her. Don't look at her.
it's about aliens and humans, and this group of humans is captured by a different set of aliens that does like trafficking, but then the ship gets wrecked on a I can't look at you, Connor. Gets wrecked on a different planet with these very hunky blue aliens, and their race is dying.
We get giant Costco-sized Smurfs, okay? Like thunder from down under.
You
ripped
had me
Smurfs.
through the trafficking.
Just try it out.
I can get
try it
down with some aliens,
Yeah,
but
it's just an experience.
I never in a million years expected you to put that on there. I really didn't.
Well, I think it's one of those things that, like, I don't know, like, it's just so different from everything where you're just like, it's so enjoyable to be like, what is even happening right
no.
now?
And you know what? You don't have to defend or justify your choices. That is all you
we all were
you
much
own.
more tame about it than I expected us to
I
be.
have questions.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wait.
Yes.
I feel like
Just accept it.
okay, yeah, I think that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm like, wait, hold on. So
What?
I heard like blue hunk alien, and I was like, wait, where is this going? I was like, hold on. So, okay, well, I need you to put this in the group chat because I'm not going to remember, but I feel like I need to read this because now I'm intrigued and I'm also really scared. So
Like, you have to
Exactly.
promise you'll still talk to me if I give you this title.
It's just, look, it's like a 22 book series. You don't have to read them all. Did I read like the first 3? Yeah, I did. Okay, whatever. But it's
I thought you were going to say the first 13.
I just feel
That's
like
hilarious.
it should be like if you've never, like, you guys just witnessed it, like, what are you talking about? Like, to have that while you're reading of like, hold on, what? I think it's a reading experience.
You've been where?
And that's
With
what
who?
we're here for.
Okay, moving on.
So anyway,
All right. What about you, Susie? What's your next one?
my last pick was, again, one that we did an episode on because I wasn't a super reader before this podcast. So, like, there was some... Yeah, I mean, I read, but not like I do now. And like, so anyway, my last one is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I like how we both have very, like, fucked up books for actual, like, this one was... this one was my first like horror book that wasn't a Stephen King book, because I suffered through a few Stephen Kings before I realized that like he's incredible, but just not what I'm into.
The book
For you,
lover that
right.
I am, if you can believe it, I've never picked up Stephen King.
Me neither.
I enjoyed a couple, but then I was suffering. I have several that are unfinished because I was just like, broski, I get it. It's a brick road. Like, anyway, so this book is about like people that made a really bad choice a long time ago, and karma's coming back for you. Mixed, dabbled in with a little bit of Native American like mythology and culture. All
It was a mind trip for sure.
It sounds like a mind trip.
Really want to. I might read it again. I'm not really I won't really usually read a book twice, but this one
I typically do not either, actually.
I'll rewatch a movie like 17 times, but I don't know what. I guess my brain's like, so much work. We just pictured everything and got through all that.
Oh my goodness. All right, Allie, what about you?
So my last one is a series, just because, oh gosh, it was just so good. And the third book is coming out this month. So the Empyrean series, Fourth Wing, loved it. I loved it so much.
It made my list too.
Yes, I know.
I'm so excited.
I know, I am too. Yeah, it was just like, my first intro to the world building, to the dragons, to characters that are part of like the disabled community, and just kind of appreciating their strength and what they go through with their with what they go through in life and everything. But yeah, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, beautiful. I'm so excited for Onyx. I'm excited for Onyx Storm. I'm scared
Same.
for Onyx Storm. But
There's high
I'm
expectations. There's
there really
high
is.
expectations.
Yeah. So I will be at Barnes and Noble for the midnight release, and I will probably be up for a few hours after I get the book and read it, because I need it in my life. I need to know what's going to happen. So there's that.
I have mine on pre-order. Mine's on pre-order. It'll come to the house. I'm not gonna go.
Oh yeah, no, same.
But
So
I
when
get it.
but when Iron Flame came out, this is funny story. When Iron Flame did come out, Allie actually did hook a girl up, because I was waiting all day.
Yep.
And she got me a copy, and I like raced over and met her over at Barnes and Noble, and like
That's so something
picked
she
it up.
would do. She'd be like, "Hey, I got you the copy because the line is fucking ridiculous. So do you want to go get seafood boil, and then we'll go home and read?"
Exactly. No, and I'm so glad that you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just funny too, because when Iron Flame had came out, I was at work, and I told my boss, I'm like, listen, I love my job, but priorities, I need to run a Barnes and Noble and get a book. And he was like, yeah, like go ahead and whatever. But he didn't know it was going to be gone for so long. I'm like, sorry. I was like, I brought you back ice cream, so there's my compromise.
It's a
So
fair trade. It's a fair trade.
Sounds like a
I see
win-win
no
to me.
issues here.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Yeah.
That's a really good one.
that. Oh. Okay, well, I'll wrap up my selection then. Since she included Fourth Wing, I would absolutely reread this series for the first time if I could. I am obsessed and love. But my last book I was going to bring for books I wish I could reread for the first time was Kristen Hanna,
Yes.
The Women.
Oh,
I-
yes.
She is hands down just my favorite author. I'm actually in the middle of listening to one of her books on Audible right now. And I'm obsessed. I love everything that she writes. So if I could experience every single one of her books for the first time, every single time I read it, that would be my choice. Yeah, that one in particular, this one is really good. And essentially it's about a woman that is a nurse in Vietnam that goes to Vietnam during the war.
Yep.
And
I don't think I could put myself through the emotional state of that book again. Like, as soon as you pick that up,
I
like,
know.
my heart hurt, and I was like, oh.
That's the risk you take with every Kristen
Emotional
book.
damage.
I'm not kidding. I
Yeah.
finished that, or I wasn't even finished with it. I was reading it on my Kindle, and I had the blanket, and I was just ugly crying in the middle of the night, and Justin's like sound asleep by me, so I'm like trying to be quiet. Oh, that, yeah.
I know.
So
But it's
good.
just so good. Her writing is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, well, I have 2 more. I'll just quickly go through.
Yes, please.
Okay, so one is a series, and that's Zodiac Academy. If I could read that for the first time, I totally would.
She's got me into it.
Ugh.
I'm halfway
Really?
through
So
it.
good.
I haven't started yet, but friends keep telling me that I need to. Oh,
Yeah.
You must.
It's so good.
It's that
It's-
good.
I just started it. I got the first book, and I have so much going on right now, and I'm trying to read it, but yeah, I'm hooked.
It's
I
so
already
good.
want the rest of them.
And I think what's so great about it is there's so much going on at all times that you never, like, you don't feel like there's any wasted time. Like, things are just constantly happening. And then at the end of every one, it's like it's just so intense. It's just,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that series.
Okay.
Another series, and this is by S.C. Abbey, and it's called the Mindfuck series. And there's 5 different books in it. It's so good.
I haven't started
So
it
I
yet.
think I had actually heard of this one.
It's
Yeah, me
pretty
too.
dark. It's pretty dark, I will say that. And it's definitely, like, there's some parts that probably are going to make you feel a little squeezy. But it's like, it kind of has like a revenge plot to it. It doesn't kind of. It is kind of a revenge plot in a whole. But, like, it was so... I love the story. I love the revenge aspect. I love, like, a girl kind of serial killer, if we're going to be honest.
Yes.
Like, I love that when she has, like, a purpose and, like, she's getting revenge on these men is what
I'm
it is.
thinking, is it like that show, Revenge? Do you remember that show?
know what
I
you're
never
talking
watched
about.
it.
Okay, I didn't really either, but I mean, I always heard really good things,
Yeah.
and that's what it made me think of.
Yeah. So I love a plot like that where it's like a woman who's like getting revenge against people who did her wrong. Love it. Love it. It was so good. It's so sad and heartbreaking at the same time. But I read probably the whole thing in a few days, and I cried at the end of it. So it was really good. You have a copy of this. I gave it to you.
Yep.
Kylie says, "Don't worry, I got you covered."
Yeah.
Yep.
I gave
Anytime
it to
she's,
her like
obsessed.
randomly.
Yep. She'll be like, "Look, just read it sometime. Like you'll
Yeah.
just have it." And so it's sitting next to my bed, like, "Mommy, read me."
I love it. Oh my gosh.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's-
Well, there we have it. Books we wish we could reread
That's
for the
Book
first time.
Bites.
No.
Book bite.
Fun little mini-sode.
Yeah.
I love it.
A little book bite. You called it a book bite?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't. That's.
It took everything in me this whole time not to be like, don't be weird.
Me.
Ladies do.
Alrighty.
So much fun.
Well, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate you, and we'll
Of
see you
course.
next time.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.